Welcome to Magic Arcanum. I'm Ryan Gomez. Behind the scenes is Nicole Burdick, and we're so glad you're here because it's story time. And today's story time is mostly about me. As you can probably tell just by looking, I am not in my usual spot, and that is because I have sold my house here in Texas. I am living now in an apartment, waiting for my daughter to finish her school year so that we can move back to New York to be closer to my family and closer to Nicole, which is going to be great for our content creation possibilities. So hopefully you guys will be patient with me as I figure out some new ways to make videos here. Obviously, I don't have all my equipment, I don't have my studio space, and I do still want to cover things like the new Capenna story, which is happening now, and I'll have my full recap once that's all done. But for today, I thought it would be fun to kind of say goodbye to Kamigawa first with a Flavor Win video based around Tamiyo's completion at the hand of the Phyrexians. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should probably go back and watch my video explaining everything that happened in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Tamiyo is a really fun character. She is a storyteller, so her deck is built around sagas, which is how we tell stories on Kamigawa, and it came together pretty well. I'm excited to show it off to you guys, but first, let me thank the sponsor for today's video, Into the AM. I did not have a ton of room in my luggage for clothing for this apartment, obviously. The things that I did bring are almost entirely my Into the AM collection. They just have such cool shirts and jackets and sweatpants and boxer shorts, everything you could need to be the best dressed person at your next game night or Friday Night Magic. I mean, check this one out. This is like Tamiyo right here, basically. It's like a Japanese kind of a geisha thing with like an oni mask on it, showing like beauty and evil mixed together. It's a really trippy design, and their whole catalog is just filled with cool stuff like this. Check them out using the link down below, and you will also save 10% on your entire order, which stacks on their already discounted bundle deals. Into the AM makes some truly inspiring clothing. I am proud to wear it. It is, like I said, literally all I brought and all I'm going to be wearing for the next, 8 or 10 weeks. And I'm okay with that. I did also pack the green cup just in case you were worried. You can support the show and refresh your wardrobe just in time for summer by visiting Into the AM using that link down below and entering promo code MAGICARCANUM at checkout for 10% off your entire order. Alright, with that out of the way, let's head over to Magic Arena and I'll show you my Tamiyo's Completion deck. Alright, so here's the deck. As you can see, it is a blue and green standard best of one deck. There's not even a sideboard on this. I kind of just threw it together and I've been having fun with it in the unranked queue. I don't know if there's a better build of this. Well, I'm sure there's a better build of this, but it's an interesting place to start. So let's run through it real quick. At the top end, we of course have Tamiyo, the completed Sage. And the cool thing about her is that she can lock down our opponent's best creature every turn, which is great against those rune decks that tend to put all of their runes on just one guy. And she can get stuff back out of our graveyard, which gives her a bit of a reanimator kind of a bend. We don't use that too much in here, but it's something to keep in mind because the opportunity does come up. Her ultimate creates the Tamiyo's Notebook token, which makes all of our stuff cheaper to cast and can let us draw a card for free every turn. That is huge. Supporting Tamiyo, we've also got Tamiyo's Completion, which is one of our best removal spells, kind of the only removal spell, I guess, in a way, but it can enchant an artifact, a creature, or a planeswalker, and basically nullifies whatever that was going to do. So that is really powerful spot removal, and supporting that, we've also got some of the sagas that I mentioned. So Inventive Iteration becomes the living breakthrough, and that can really kind of hamper our opponent's game plan. Boseiju Reaches Skyward can get us some extra lands, help us ramp a little bit if we need it, so we can cast Tamiyo without paying Phyrexian mana to do it. And Dramatist's Puppet is kind of an interesting, fun little one in here. It kind of fits the theme of Tamiyo's storytelling, and it works well with both the sagas by advancing their verse counters, or it can add loyalty to Tamiyo. So lots of flexibility here. It was kind of fun to find room for just 2 copies of that. We've also got 1 copy of Story Weave, again, Tamiyo is a storyteller, and this is an interesting kind of combat trick. You don't want to be holding too many of these, but having just one available can let you pull off some cool stuff, like turning your saga into a creature in time for blocks, which your opponent maybe didn't see coming, or adding 2 +1/+1 counters at instant speed can make some of your stuff big enough to survive an attack or something like that. So it's pretty flexible, but yeah, you don't want your hand filled with a bunch of these if you don't have creatures to use it on. In the cheaper side of things, we've got the Modern Age, which lets us draw and then discard. Great for digging through our deck and finding Tamiyo and the other pieces that we want. And Azusa's Many Journeys, playing extra lands, gaining some extra life, helps, again, to kind of stall things out until we can get our bigger pieces ready to go. Supporting all of that, we have the Weaver of Harmony, who can double up one of the verses, I guess, of a saga, and he also makes all of our enchantment creatures bigger. Well, most of our creatures are coming from the backside of the sagas, so he's going to just act as a general lord and kind of buff our whole team. And then helping him out, we've got Tamiyo's Safekeeping, so another Tamiyo card, another one of our combat tricks here, making something hexproof and indestructible, and again, giving us just a pinch more life can really help against the more aggressive decks. And then we've got Generous Visitor. It's a spirit that gets to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature whenever we cast an enchantment spell. And since most of our deck are enchantments, this guy can either make himself big or we can make somebody else big, and that's really great. Capping it all off, we have Spell Pierce, and this is kind of the turning point in Tamiyo's story, right? When she becomes corrupted by the phyrexians. Nobody sees this coming. It's a great way to answer back things like Meat Hook Massacre if they tap out for that, or some of the other big non-creature spells. We're able to shut those down very effectively for just a single blue mana. So that is the deck. Lands are pretty straightforward. Islands and forests, a little bit of a dual action here from some Dreamroot Cascades that I had, and one each of the legendary lands, just mostly for flavor and for fun. You could do a lot with this. You could go into some more sagas. You could cut some sagas out. You could put Jin-Gitaxias in here and reanimate him with Tamiyo. He cares more about instants and sorceries, not so much about sagas, so I didn't go that route, but I think that the shell is kind of fun, and I'm excited to show you how it works in the Flavor Wins. So here we go. All right, here's our first match with Tamiyo's Completion on Flavor Win. We have a great hand. We've got enough lands, we've got some sagas. We don't have Tamiyo herself yet, but we'll find her. Our opponent opens with a forest and does nothing. We are going to do the exact same thing, I think. Now, as we head into turn 2 here, they are on a Golgari Ranger class deck. Interesting. All right, so for our turn, we've got an option. We need to pick between playing one of our sagas now or playing Weaver of Harmony so that he can double up a saga's activation on a future turn. I think getting one of the sagas out now is probably better. We want to start digging through our deck, and this one lets us do that. We pick up another island, which I think I'm actually okay discarding. We're going to take a hit from this wolf here. And our saga fires off again, and yeah, once again, I think we've got plenty of lands, so we can keep discarding those. And we can play our untapped Cascade. And now next turn, the Modern Age is going to flip, so I kind of want Weaver of Harmony down so that that'll be bigger when it does flip, and we can protect him with Tamiyo's Safekeeping. All right, so our opponent levels up their Ranger class and foretells a card. I'm thinking that that's Poison the Cup, being that they are black and green. And they get to put a counter onto their wolf. So we could block it and keep our Weaver of Harmony alive, but we're not really under a ton of pressure yet. I'm okay taking this damage, saving the safekeeping for when it will really matter. All right, so Modern Age flips over into the 3/4 Flying Vector Glider, which is pretty great. We need to find him some help, so do we? Ooh, Inventive Iteration seems really good here, but bouncing their wolf token would be awesome. But saving it one more turn would let us get double bounces out of it. I think that that's better. So we'll just do another Modern Age. And I will double up on this with the Weaver of Harmony, because we really want to find Tamiyo if we can. We do not really need any more lands. And I don't... man, this could make a really nice big creature too. Yeah, I guess we're going to ditch another... no, I do want to keep the land so I can for sure... All right. All right. I want to keep a 5th land in hand so that way we can play Inventive Iteration and copy its activated ability with the Weaver of Harmony. Our opponent seems to be maybe pinched on lands here, foretelling another card. Not playing any lands, though. Tapping out to foretell everything. Okay. And our glider is now no longer big enough to block that wolf. So I think we're just going to have to take another hit from them, but we're going to bounce it back to their hand in just a second here, which is fine. And we would have drew another land anyway. All right. And there's Tamiyo. All right, so we are going to get rid of one of these lands. Play that one. And then we're going to play our Iteration. We're going to target their token, and then we're going to duplicate that ability. Okay, which should let us also bounce their animated land. It is nice. Thank you, opponent. Opponent goes to 17. We're at 11. They have 3 lands in play, 4 lands in play. We're at 5. And they did have Poison the Cup, as I suspected. But yeah, I think at this point, almost no matter what they do, like our Tamiyo is just going to make it really hard for them to deploy any threats. We can even make her indestructible if we need to. All right, and since we don't have an artifact card in our graveyard, the only 2 that we have are those Dramatist puppets, so we got to draw another card. So we have a Spell Pierce, which would also protect our Tamiyo. That is great. I think we're just going to attack with our Weaver. And then I'm going to play her, but I'm going to use the Phyrexian mana to do it, so that's going to cost me life, but it keeps me an untapped land.
The future is rich in oil and steel.
Yeah. And there's no opposing creatures to tap.
Such an imperfect form.
So now we can protect her with either Spell Pierce or Safekeeping if we need to. Do I want to protect the Vector Glider? Yeah, I think I do, actually. Do they have another? Wow. All right. Opponent just all kill spells. So I could -2 Tamiyo to bring back our Weaver. And I guess that's probably the best thing to do because they don't really have anything for her to tap down.
Become part of the next chapter.
Opponent's already given me the good game, which is a little suspicious, but we'll see. I think we'll just pass it back and see if they have an answer here. Meat Hook Massacre is probably going to... Okay, that's a card you don't see very often. Master Symmetrist, a 4/4 with Reach, and they are going to attempt to struggle for Skemfar, excuse me. But we are going to say no thank you and Spell Pierce. right. So we get to draw another card, discard another land that we don't really need. And then we'll play our Generous Visitor. So now our opponent cannot play 1 mana spells next turn. And I think we're just going to complete the Symmetrist and buff up some of our flyers. And that's going to do it. That's a flavor win. Our opponent cannot handle Tamiyo's Completion. What a cool victory. Let's see if we can do it again. All right, here we go with another entry in the saga that is Tamiyo's Completion. We've got some islands and the Modern Age, which will hopefully help us find a forest. We're playing against Orset, and they have some gorgeous sleeves featuring... I guess we can open on the Cascade here. Featuring Himoto, the Tanuki, spirit of the spark that befriended Kaito. So there you go. All right, well, we found a forest without even needing it. So our opponent has Foretold, probably saw it coming. In such a case, I guess we will still go with Modern Age. Goodness, I don't know that we need 2 of those, though, so we'll send the other one out. And now we got to watch and assume that our opponent is going to be able to counter whatever we do next. Unless they tap out for a Skyclave Relic. Okay. All right, so we probably don't need all these lands. I guess we just get a Weaver down here. And then so next turn on 4, we could do Tamiyo early. We could do Boseiju. They're going for Lolth, so...
Ah, you reek with subservience. Will be rewarded.
Yeah. So I kind of like going with Tamiyo here.
Phyrexians, the multiverse's synthetic destiny.
And she can actually keep their Skyclave Relic from untapping.
Bow before Phyrexia.
This is an interesting, was it 4-color deck? They've got white, green, black, and blue. And we can eat one of these. Oh, we can't because they have Menace. We have to give up our Weaver of Harmony. I think that's worth it, actually, to keep Tamiyo alive.
Metal is stronger than flesh. Do what I demand. Oh yes, I know the knowledge you seek.
Really not sure what else to expect here. Sunset Revelry, which didn't really do a whole lot. It didn't make them any tokens, didn't gain them any life. It just cycled itself, really. All right, so I think first we're going to make sure your spider doesn't untap.
Our will cannot be denied.
We will try to kill your Lolth.
At least there is blood on your hands.
Yeah. And then I guess we'll try to run a saga out here. If they counter this, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, saw it coming. We saw it coming. It's actually fine. And since I didn't play a land yet, we'll take Otawara. So it is 5-color Kami War. Interesting. Interesting. All right. So the rest of these chapters are pretty brutal and might be worth just hitting with Boseiju. While they don't have counter... Well, not that you can counter a channeled ability anyway, but now we at least don't have to worry about getting hit with that. And then we'll play another Modern Age. It's a land that we don't really need. All right, opponent, good on you with the 5-color Kami War. That is impressive. Do you have a second one? No, but you have a whole lot of Skyclave relics. All right. So what do you do with all of that mana? Yeah, again, don't really need lands. We will try to get our Tamiyo down, though.
Phyrexians' story infects the mind, becoming You do not write this story.
What a creepy voice. I love it. Prismatic Bridge. We have all sorts of 5-color goodies. We don't really have a good answer for that. Beginning of your upkeep, reveal cards from the top of your library until you find a creature or a planeswalker. Cast it for free. Path of Peril. Fine. Now Revelry gains them some life, but... All right, so we have an option here. We could play the puppet and move Tamiyo up to 7 loyalty and then use her ultimate, but then we lose Tamiyo. I think instead we will, I don't know, keep one of these relics from untapping.
Bow before Phyrexia.
And they have their own Tamiyo. This is getting more and more interesting.
Phyrexia's rise.
What a cool game. And then a coma. Okay, so we are in trouble here. We need to find our Tamiyo's completion.
You do not write this story.
Or we could just bounce it. Man, as much as I would love to keep our Tamiyo, and we could play the puppet first, but then that doesn't really leave us with much on defense. So is it better to use her ultimate now, draw more cards, make all of our other stuff cheaper? I think it is. I guess it is.
Time together is no matter. Phyrexia's victory is near. This is the one true history of the multiverse.
And there's a completion. That's actually pretty good. So we can... We can nullify their Cosmos Serpent. And then this, ooh, we could bounce their Tamiyo, or we could get their token out of here. I think we'll just take that away. All right, but we're not going to be able to keep up with a free planeswalker every turn. Outstanding. So Kaya just exile, or -3, exile a non-land permanent. They exiled my enchantment that was locking down their
You cannot delay our victory.
their serpent. And so now they get to do that, unless we can find an answer for it here. Yeah. Another iteration, though. I mean, let's make them at least spend mana on something if they want to keep this guy. And then do I want to flip this one? Yeah, I guess I do. Ooh, or... Oh, it doesn't trigger until the next... Maybe that was not a great move. Not a great plan. Yeah, taking a counter off of your saga does not re-trigger a previous verse. It's only when one gets added.
I have collected enough data. Every story leads to the rise of Phyrexia.
You're done.
Yeah, Spell Pierce not really going to help when they have all this mana.
It feels weird, right?
With me here, you'll have all the time in the world. Don't worry, it's only a little mischief.
So they've ultimated their own Tamiyo. They get cheaper stuff. They have a ton of mana. They get free stuff from the bridge. And they have 3 planeswalkers. And they just destroyed our... Oh, no. I don't think we're going to win this one. Especially if we're just drawing lands. And spell pierces. And spell pierces. So we're going to concede, but hopefully we can still get one more flavor win in. This 5-color bridge deck was insane, but I think our story's not finished yet. Let's see what happens in the final verse. All right, here we go. One more shot with Tamiyo's Completion. We have a great opening hand. We're going to keep this, and hopefully we can end on a flavor win here. Let's see. Fang of Shigeki from our opponent. We're going to answer that back with a Generous Visitor. So I think our deck is kind of aggressive. It doesn't really do great when it starts to fall behind. We don't have ways to catch up. We kind of need to win quickly, or at least lock the game up so that, you know, our Tamiyo can do what she needs to do. We've got Modern Age here. And I guess we could toss one of these lands. Probably going to regret that later. Now, do we attack into this wolf? I think we do, right? Because if they trade, that's actually fine. I mean, this, they can level up Ranger class, but that's their mana for the turn. Yeah, I'll take that. All right, we are going to ditch one of the completions. Play a land. And I guess Weaver. So that way when Modern Age flips, it'll be a 3/4. Or not. I mean, I'm kind of fine if they just keep throwing everything on the one guy, because we can just our life is getting a little low, but I'm not worried. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine.
Phyrexia is the multiverse's synthetic destiny.
Oh, do they have a safekeeping? They do, and they're going to use it on that. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. And they're just attacking face, huh? Why would you not go after Tamiyo there? That's why.
You cannot unwrite what has been written.
Oh, but guess what? All right, now I think I just want to try to complete this guy. All right, so we're down to 8. They seem to be a little behind on lands. Do we go to 6? It's the Phyrexian way, right?
The future is written in oil and steel. You do not write this story. You only think you changed the ending.
Rude. All right, well, we found a land. Kind of like getting some life out of this in a turn. Yeah. Another leveled ranger class. So we'll eat the wolf, go to 3. Gain that right back. And we're going to wait, and we can flash in the completion here. We'll do that right before attacks if they go with the... Sure. Devour my glider. And before they can attack, hopefully they don't have another safekeeping. Okay. Welp. I really want to hold on to the puppet in case we find a good saga. Like this'll work, I guess. Yeah, ditch the land. Opponent putting up a very good fight on just 3 lands. But I'm hoping we're going to be able to kind of stabilize things here. Wow, another rebuke. Oh boy. Welp. We go to 3. But we will take away their fin. Bring them all the way down to 20. Toski, cool. Safekeeping, huge. Bounce, Toski. Sure. So Story Weave is interesting because it lets us flip our iteration here if we want. Opponent has to attack with Toski. They're just going to keep throwing counters on it. That's the problem. Well, it's only up to 3 so far, so... And my neighbor chose right now to start vacuuming. I love living in an apartment. It's such a fun menagerie of interruptions and noises and smells and... can't wait to get another house. Okay. So we have another living breakthrough. We've got some flyers. We got some stuff. We're just going to keep chipping away at the opponent. I'm going to leave Puppet back for defense. And I don't have any 2-mana spells to stop them from casting their Fin, but that's fine. Alright, so they go for Rebuke. We could double Spell Pierce, or we could just Story Weave this and make it bigger. Yeah, let's do that. And now they can't cast any 3-mana spells. And so now our flyers are threatening victory here. If our opponent cannot answer these or get 3 more damage on us, they play their Fin. Doesn't change anything. They have to attack with Toski. Yep. It gets counters. I think we will just block with the Puppet. And I'm fine with that dying. I want to keep safekeeping in case we need to protect our flyers. And it's our turn. It's 10 damage. Opponent tries a safekeeping to gain some life here. They're going to have to pay 2, and then we just spell pierce them again. And that should be game. Oh, those spell-piercing phyrexians. Perfect way to end Tamiyo's completion. That's a flavor win. That was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck. If you did, let me know down in the comments. I want to do maybe a few more flavor wins here and there when I can fit them in. Again, limitations of the apartment living. I'm going to do what I can. Please check out Into the AM. Grab yourself one of their awesome shirts. It does help support the channel. Nicole and I really appreciate it. And, you know, this has been a lot of fun. So make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the great stories you'll only find here on Magic Arcanum. And we'll see you probably in a couple weeks with a recap of everything that's happening on New Capenna. We'll see ya.